Good morning, beautiful. How are you doing today? This is a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. We're going to be spending about the next 45 minutes together, putting on our makeup and learning. This week it's actually going to be a couple of Bible verses. So that's what we're going to be looking forward to for the next 45 minutes. And so our foundation verse for this podcast, let me get that up on your screen for you. It is Psalm 119, verse 11. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And that's kind of the core from where we're coming at. Now, we have a coloring verse journal that we're working through. And we have one that's in development. So we're kind of, I guess, a little bit putting the cart before the horse this particular season. But I assure you, it is going to be a great thing. So be looking for that. Also, during maybe this afternoon. But if you'll head over to my website, a little bit of makeup at a whole lot of Jesus.com, there is going to be a registration link for an email. And in that email, it's going to have this week's content for you and the coloring page and all that good stuff. So give me just a minute and I'll get that turned on for you. But be over to the website and be looking for that. And that's just kind of for you to have fun with this week, to give you a little bit of taste of what we're going to be looking forward to. So let me see what we got here. Let me scroll down and let's review last week. We've got so many verses under our belt now. There's a lot of things to scroll through. Just wait till we get to the entire end of James. Okay. There we go. So that should be on your screen for you now. So let's say that verse together. Either you can read it on the screen or you can say it from memory. And so let me think. Anyone who meets a testing challenge head on and does not give up, there we go, is mighty fortunate. For such a person, oh my goodness, why is it so hard to say this online with you guys? Do you struggle sitting in your chair like this? Okay, such a person's loyalty and love with God, the reward is a life and more life. Okay, so I'll continue to work on that this week. And so we also have a review coming up. So that gives you a week where you have the opportunity to kind of catch up on what you haven't, maybe got so perfect like that right there. Or maybe you're new joining with us. And so that gives you a week to kind of catch up and jump in. It is far more important that you have that word hidden in your heart than it is that you're following a schedule. So I encourage you, no matter where you are in your process of memorizing the book of James with us, just stay where you are and keep at it. So let's look at the verse we've got this week. Now, obviously, I don't have this one memorized, so I'll be reading along with you. So let me get that on your screen for you. We're going to be in James 1, 13 to 15 this week. So continuing to compound upon what we've already got going. So this one is, don't let anyone under pressure give in to evil say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation is to give in to evil, comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but let me get you the next one, but the leering, seducing flare-up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby, sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. Okay, so we can see we're going to get poked a little bit this week with our verse, but isn't that kind of what it's all about? So you can't continue to move until you get a little bit of pain where you're at, so that it will move you and propel you into your next level of learning, leadership, whatever it is that you're going on to. All right, so let me get that scrolling across the bottom of our screen. There we go. Now, today, our easy makeup theme is going to be Chocolate Metal Mania. So, I just love to fully utilize a palette. So, today we're going to take the Urban Decay Metal Mania, and surprisingly so, this palette, let me just show you again. So, the palette looks like this. We got lots of colors. We got some wild. We got some funky. We're going to, sorry about that light in the mirror. Let me get over because I can hear some of you chatting and dinging on me. Good morning. So good to see you all today. Okay, so we are going to continue on with our Metal Mania palette. Today we're going to do something a little more normal. we're going to do chocolate metal mania. And so we're going to be doing a very neutral, everyday kind of look today. But of course, I got to zhuzh it up a little bit. Is that really a word? Zhuzh? I'm not sure. Okay, well, it is now. I've heard it before. So, there you go. So we're going to take that chocolate look and then we're just going to soup it up, zhuzh it up, whatever your word is for today. So you can do this with any makeup palette that you have. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Metal Mania. If you are looking for that one, I encourage you to come see me at my store in Midlothian, Texas, or you can order it from the link on the website too. Either way. I believe the link is link is in the podcast notes too. So if you're looking at this on Apple Podcasts or Deezer or something like that, it's in there too. All right, so let us get started properly by getting our face ready. So we're going to begin with that Urban Decay All-Nighter Primer. And literally one pump of that is going to be all that you need. So we're just going to work that between the tips of our fingers. This is going to extend the life of our makeup, our foundation. Helps with, to a certain extent, oil control. I'm a combo skin. Definitely helps me out. It is going to even out uneven skin surfaces and texture. If you've got some that are dry, some that are oily, it kind of helps balance that out a little bit too. So just like a great foundation for priming your face. Okay, so if y'all remember the old days where you used to have to, prime the mower before you could start it, it's the same kind of thing. You're just prepping it, getting it ready to go. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer, or whatever concealer you're using. This particular concealer, a little bit goes a long way, so we are literally just going to take a little tiny bit. This is going to go anywhere you have something you want to conceal. So, for me, I don't like that darkness there. I don't like that redness there. I don't like that purple there. I don't like that redness there. If you have acne scarring or anything like that going on, you would use this there too. So I'm just going to make sure I got it kind of good in the corner of my eye there. We're going to let that set for just a second. And what am I doing right now? Always have a tissue in my lap for, whatever thing it is that goes wrong that you weren't anticipating. That way you're fully prepared for this. Okay, so I am using my Nifty Neato Star brush. I just love this brush, seriously. This is the new foundation brush from IT Cosmetics. It is a limited edition. In fact, you might only be able to get that at Ulta. I'm not sure. Anyways, I like it. It could use to be a little bit more dense in my opinion, but it works really well. We're going to use this to blend out our concealer. Yeah, it's like in a star shape. It's hard to see now because I've used it a little bit. But, really, it just works out to kind of a round face. But their brushes are awesome for not shedding. They're easy to clean. Someone brought me brushes from them. I have had, I don't even know how long. They might be older than some of you on this podcast. We're just going to blend that out. Bring everything to an even skin tone. Yes, that is true. If you have any question, that's right. I can see nearly all of your chats in my message stream here. So just ask your question on the screen and I'll do my best to get it answered live. If you ask it after the fact, or maybe you're watching this as a recording, just shoot me something on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. And then I'll do my best to get that answer for you there. Okay, I am still momentarily in love with the IT Cosmetics. This is a CC Natural Matte in light neutral. Great foundation for combo skin. Does a nice, it's not really a harsh matte, it's kind of a nice matte. So I think you would, whether you have dry skin or not, I think you would like it. Plus it's got that CC and that SPF of 40 in there. So we are literally just going to do one right there. That is all you need. So we're just going to kind of set that down in a couple spots. If you want a shade match on that, just come see me in my store in Midlothian. We will get you taken care of. And then we're just going to blend that out. Getting it right up to that concealer. We're going to smooth out along the chin. We do not want like a harsh line going on or a stop. Okay, just getting in a little closer. You can see how well that just blends into that concealer. Getting around the edge of the lips there, which I did with the primer as well. I forgot to mention that. Just helps your lips stick to wear a little bit better. Okay, so stop blending, Benny. All right, now we're going to be using powder contouring today. So today we're going to go ahead and set the foundation now. So I am using the Beauty Blender. This is their powder puff. I am in love with this thing. It is just so easy and fluffy. And the setting powder that I'm using is the Hourglass Veil. This is just a translucent setting powder. So you just flip it upside down, give it a few taps, and then the right amount just automatically ends up in this little reservoir right here. So we're going to start out with the pointy part, and we're going to work around the eye. Just get that set. Yeah, you can see how the point of that just like gets all of in there. Just nice. All right, now we're going to flip it over to where we've got the round end. And let's set the rest of the face. Kind of a pressing motion there. Not so much, well, I mean, a little bit of swooshing, I guess. More pressing than swooshing. And you can see how that, this has like just a tad bit of kind of a banana color to her. It's not really a banana powder, but it does have a little bit of that in there. So it's one of my favorites just because it's really well-rounded and it's just so fine and fluffy. You're not sure if you want to eat it or if you want to put it on your face. Just kidding, don't eat it. Somewhere, somebody's going to Tide Pod this Hourglass setting powder. Okay, so once we have got, oh my gosh. Once we have got our setting powder all done, now we're going to contour. Like I said, today we're going to be using powder contours. So let's jump in with what we got. So the first thing that we're going to start out with is going to be the Hoola bronzer from Benefit. I'm going to be using this brush here. Technically it's a foundation brush, but it works. So we're going to use this end here for the bronzer, and then we're going to use this end here for the highlighter. So the Hoola, you know, just a really nice, diverse, kind of a light chocolatey sort of color. So we're going to start out with the flat side of the brush here. Just going to get a little bit on there. Well, depending on your complexion tone. If you got a little darker skin, you can be a little more adventurous with it. And then same thing on the other side. We're going to go from right about here to right about here. Kind of in a little bit of a U shape to sort of lift that cheekbone just a little bit. Still using the flat side. Right up along that hairline there. And now we're going to switch to the side. Under the jawline from the bottom of the ear to right about here. Just going to chisel out that jaw a little bit. Maybe remove one of my chins. And now we're going to narrow my nose. Now, if God gave you a nice skinny nose, you don't have to do that part. All right. We're going to dip into our highlighter now. This is the MAC Double Gleam Extra Dimension Skin Finish. This is just I know I've hit pan already. Just kind of a nice, it's kind of almost the same color of Cookie from Benefit. So you could really use either one of these. It's just a nice kind of champagne color. Doesn't really matter what your skin tone is. I mean, if you have darker skin tone, you may want to go something a little more golden, depending on your undertone. Or you may want to do something with a little more kind of peachy to it. Lots of choices. Come see Jordan. All right, so now we've got our highs and lows. So we are going to now work on a little bit of color. So you can see we got a little bit of shape now, but now we are devoid of color. So we're going to dip into our Juvia's Place Volume 4. You know how much I love this one. And today, because we're using so much neutrals, we're going to use this one here. We're going to bring in a little bit of color with our blush today. These are very pigmented, so you literally just have to tap, tap, and that is all you need. So we're just going to tap, tap, and then we're going to work between the highlighter and the bronzer here. And then you probably don't need to actually put any on your brush, but let's just get a little up here, a little there, a little there. All right. And you'll see how that will kind of all balance itself out here in just a second. So if you're looking at it and you're like, oh my gosh, there's a little bit of pink on there. Yeah, it's okay. All right. So before we go to our lips, we are going to say our verse together. So we're going to chat for a second. Let that verse roll around for us. Let me get it over here on this side for me. Okay, we're just waiting for that verse to roll around. So I know that we got Easter coming up. Do you have anything fun planned? Anything special your family does? I know I'm looking forward to having my granddaughter with me on Saturday. We are going to go to church and do Easter egg hunt and music and crafts, and it should be lots of fun. Okay, so here we go. Get ready, and there we go. Don't let anyone under pressure to give in to evil say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing flare-up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby, sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. James 1:13-15. Oh, I think I actually timed that right. Yay! Okay, so we're going to move on to our next thing, which is going to be our lips. Let me scoot forward here just a little bit. Today, we're going to be lining with the Juvia's Place. This is Coffee Bean. This is their Luxe Lip Liner. So we're going to outline the lip. Then we're going to use just a little bit lighter pressure, come to the inside of that, and then blend that out. So here we go. We're going to line. Let's do first a Cupid's bow. There you go. Just give it a nice shape. I'm not really one of those that prefers that overlining thing. Straddle that line though. Get as much real estate as you possibly can. If you like the overlining, you knock yourself out. I just don't care for it. Okay, we're rounding out that lip just a little bit. Now we're going to do the bottom lip and then we'll come back and do that inside line. And you can see that's kind of a nice chocolate coffee sort of color. So step back, look, make sure you like that. When you're ready, you're going to go ahead and use just a little bit lighter pressure just inside of that. There we go. And we're just going to kind of drag it a little bit, making sure you don't muss up the outside corners. So today I'm going to be using 2 different colors of MAC. So we're going to start out with, let's see, this one. This is Antique Velvet Matte Lipstick. And this is kind of a really nice chocolate color. It's almost the color of the lip liner that we just put on. And then this is the MAC Satin Lipstick in Bad and Bare. And just kind of a nice lighter, sort of coffee with creamer sort of color. You could use Mare as well if you have that one. Okay, so we're going to line over the lip liner that we just did, but we're going to leave the center empty to put the Bad and Bare. So this is what, again, Antique Velvet. There you go. And we can see that we left the center empty. And now we're going to grab that Bad and Bare. Like I said, kind of a coffee with creamer color. And just put that in the middle. And now you have a super easy ombre lip. That took us like 2 seconds to get that extra dimension on our lips. And if you did use the Mare, it has a little bit of more pink to it. So that one might be nice too, just for a little kind of evening out between the cheeks and the eyes. All right, so now we are going to play with the Naked Urban Decay Metal Mania. So here's where we're going to be living today. Today we're going to be living in, we're going to start out with Shred, and that's going to be on here. There we go. We're going to start out with Shred. That's going to be on our upper lid. And then we are going to add Headbang, I think it is. Yeah, Headbang will be on the lower lid. And then we're going to move to Trash, kind of on the brow bone. And then the last 2 colors that we're going to be using are Road Crew and Heavy. Now, Heavy, we're only going to use like just a little smidge. That's just going to be for a little accentuation on the outside corner. So don't get too worried or excited about that. Okay, so the brush that's in there is actually pretty decent. So I'm going to start out by just using the brush that came in the palette. When we get towards a couple of things that need to be a little more specific, we're going to add a couple other brushes. But for right now, just start out with this one. So the fluffy end that we've got here, that's going to go in the color Shred. We're just going to put a little color down on the upper lid here. Not too much, just a little bit. Just trying to give some color. And then something for the colors we're going to add later on to blend into. So just get that there. All right. Now we're going to use this end. And we are going to go in the color Headbang. Go ahead and put it on both sides of the brush. So we got it on both sides here. I'm going to start out on the inside edge. Right to that inside corner. And work it all the way up to where you can feel that brow bone right there. And we're just going to work our way all the way across that lid. About to right here. And you can see there's not a whole lot of color difference between Shred and Headbang, but there's just enough. Now we're going to do that same thing on the other side, still using that Headbang color. I would suggest you not Headbang while you're putting this on, though. For those of you too young to know what that is, you can Google that. 80s rock band Headbang. I know, right? Sorry. Somebody put something in the comments about the youngins. I'm gonna guess you're from Texas. Okay, now We know that we have our little duster brush. This is a MAC, what is it, 187, I think. And so if you see any fallout, just go ahead and swish that away right now. This is a very light open brush, so it doesn't like blend and make that shadow set down. It just kind of whisks it away, kind of like a whisk broom would do. Okay, so now using that same end that we just used, we are going to dip into the color of Trash. And with this, you're just going to blend, just do one side and kind of the tip of it. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with that. So that's going to go on this outer third here. And then with the tip, right on that socket right there, you're just going to come across with it. So outer third. And then use the tip and just come across on that bone. Okay, now if you have blue eyes, you can already see how much that is bluing up my eye. So without adding any additional shadow on your brush, I want you to take and just blend out the top of that into, what was the name of the color? Shred. There we go. Just blend it out up into there. Now, if you have hooded eyes like I do, at this point, when you look forward, you should be able to see that color, that Trash, coming out up above your eyelid there. It should be peeking out right here. And then on the up above that, you're going to see that Shred's on the upper brush. Trash is the one that's down here. So you should be able to see Trash right here. And then you should be able to see the just a little bit smaller area of the shred now because we've blended into it. Okay. We are going to switch brushes now because we're going to get a little more detailed with what we're doing. So I am going to use a smudger brush. This is a Real Techniques. This came from an eye kit that they had what's it called? Well, it's just called a smudge brush. They're a little bit denser, they're short, and this one's a little bit rounded. I also have one that we'll use in a minute that's more, it's a smudger too, but it's kind of got a bullet tip on it. They each do something different. So for right now, we're going to use this one here. And we're going to use that Road Crew. And you're just going to get that tip of it in that Road Crew just a little bit. We're going to add that to the outside corner here. We're going to go up just a little bit. Then we're going to do the tip of it and bring that in right here. Just go about halfway. So you notice once my brush was pretty much empty, I just sort of drug over a little bit. So I didn't actually add any shadow there. I just kind of blended it over a little bit. So just make sure that is now got the shape and the depth of color that you would like. And now we're going to go to the other side. So again, just on the face of it, we're going to do that third right here. Just going to blend that out right here. Then we're going to grab the tip and work right along that bone right there. And then without adding anything extra, we're just going to kind of swoop it over a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to use, I told you we're going to use this one for just a smidge. So we're going to go, smidge, smudge, potato. We're going to use this one ever so slightly. So we're going to take the tip of this and just tap it in a little bit to heavy. We're just going to pick it up and add it right here to the outside edge, just like a little teeny bit. Now, if you're very adventurous, you can go ahead and bring it up here just a little bit. Since I did it over there, I need to do it over here. Just gives you a little depth to those outside corners. I know, I just said, someone freaking out, you're doing normal colors. Okay, so we are going to, oh my goodness, do you know what? Typically right now we would put on a black eyeliner, but evidently I have not brought it over here. So we're gonna move ahead with the next thing here. Let's go ahead and fudge it a little bit. So that's what my mother would call it. We're gonna go back to our smudger brush, and in lieu of not having an eyeliner, we're just gonna use the tip. We're gonna get it into that Road Crew, that nice chocolatey color, and we're gonna work that underneath right here. We're going to go about 3/4 of the way across. And then we're going to tap that off just a little bit, and let's get that head bang right on that tip of that and get that right here. Okay. And we're going to take that and just ever so lightly tap into that heavy. And just right here on that outside corner, give a little touch of that. Okay. Now we're going to take our Better Than Sex Too Faced liquid eyeliner. We're going to line that top lid, working, from the outside in. Actually, you know what? I feel like this needs a little something. So in looking at this, let's take the fluffy brush of this. We're just going to do this 1 second. And let's see if we like this or not. This is a NYX roll-on shimmer. It literally has a roller with fine glitter in it. And I'm just going to take it. And let's just put it right there. Okay, yeah. I like that. Okay, yeah, so what that was, I know where I just kind of threw that in there. This is a NYX roll-on shimmer. This is the color Platinum, kind of a silvery, whitey kind of color. If you just want to add like a little, you can see how that just added a little bit of dimension and shimmer on that lid right there. It's just kind of a nice add-on. They came out with like maybe 10 colors. So if you don't have any of those, you should probably go right now and get one of every color. I'll get a link on my website shortly. Okay, so the Too Faced Better Than Sex liquid eyeliner. We're going to work from the outside corner, right on that lash line, all the way to the inside corner. And we're just given a nice thin line to cover up any gaps that might be happening as we put our lashes on. So inside corner and then outside. And if your line is not perfect, it's kind of irrelevant because you're getting ready to put lashes on the top of it. But we just want to give a nice runway for those lashes to go onto, and then to be able to cover any gap that might happen when you put the lashes on. And so now we're going to move on to our brow products. I feel like we should say our verse again. I mean, it's kind of a long one for this week. So let's see where we are. We're just about through, and then we'll do our brows. It is scrolling around. Sin is growing into adulthood now. So we're almost to the end of the verse. Okay, let me get going up here. Here we go. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Don't let anyone under pressure to give in to evil say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing flare up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby, sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. And that's James 1:13-15. I talked a little faster this time, I fear. All right, so we are going to move on to our brows now. You use whatever brow product you got. You need help with your brow shape, want a brow tinting, lamination, whatever. Come see my girl Olivia. She'll get you hooked up. She can show you how to use brow products if you don't know what you're doing. Even for those who sometimes think they know what they're doing, come get some advice. You might need some help. Okay, I am using the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil Crayon. This is in the color Cupcake. My hair is pink, therefore I have pink eyebrows. So whatever you got going on, go ahead and get your brows on. And for me, I'm just going to follow that shape all the way around, give a little tail there. So it's about 45 degrees from there, going to where it starts right up from that. I know I don't have any hair there, so I have to make it. There we go. And once you like that one, move on to the other one. Okay, giving that a little tail. There we go. Again, about 45 degrees. Okay. Make sure you got your brows even. If you're going to use a brow setter, you would do that now. Okay, all except for one thing. See that? That should not be there. Okay. Now we are going to put a little bit of mascara on. Let's actually do this first. So these are fairly dark colors, and I'm looking, and there's just a tiny bit of fallout in that kind of nice, lovely brown chocolate color. So I'm going to take the puff that I had. I'm just going to get that tip of it right into that powder, and we're just going to go under that eye area one more time. There you go. Just clear that up just a little bit. Now, because we did that, I know it's like a cascading thing of things. Okay, so because we did that, we have now mussed a little bit with our highlighter. So we're going to use a small highlighter brush. We're just going to swirl that around. We're going to put some of that back. There you go. Can you have two highlighter? I'm not sure. All right. So now we're going to mascara. So I am using the, what is this? The Tweezerman Onyx Great Grip Eyelash Curler. And today I'm going to be using Bad Gal Bang. And we're going to curl the lashes just a little bit, add one coat of mascara, and then put our lashes on. All right. So eyelash curler. We are actually, let me get the verse down here. It's kind of a long verse for today, but I think it'll be great timer. We should have great curled lashes. So we're going to get the lash curler. You want it on the lash. And you want it to crimp the lashes but not pinch your skin at all. So find your sweet spot and let's say that verse together. You ready? Don't let anyone under pressure to give in to evil say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing flare up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby, sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. Now, this week, we're going to have great curled lashes all week. Now, to the other side. Here we go. Find your sweet spot. There we go. Don't let anyone under pressure to give in to evil say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing flare-up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby. Sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. James 1:13-15. All right. Now that our lashes are fully curled, we're going to add our mascara. By working that scripture verse into your routine, though, you're making it a part of who you are, a part of your brain, helping it to stay at top of mind. Okay, now we're just going to give one cut of mascara. If you have black eyelashes, you can probably skip this step. Although, if you need that curl, you're probably going to need to put a coat of mascara just to keep your eyelashes in that curling position. All right. Sweep into the back to catch those tips. And then using the end of that wand to catch the little tiny hairs. Okay, now we're going to do the bottom lashes. I like to look up because it helps your skin pull away from the lashes. Just kind of helps them stand up straight at attention so you can get them brushed a little easier. All right. Other side. Yeah, this isn't, I know I love waterproof mascara. This one is not their waterproof though. This one is just their original. It does a really good job of staying pretty, I mean, it's water resistant, so it does well. I have used a waterproof one before. I don't know, it doesn't even matter what brand you are. Every brand that I've ever tried, the waterproof is amazing and it stays. You have to use something special to take it off. But they always dry out so much faster. Just fact, they all do it. Doesn't matter what brand it is. Okay, so today we're going to be doing lashes, and you know how much I love me some Juvia's Place Nubian lashes. Today I'm going to be using, what is this one called? Royalty. And let me open it up so you can see. This one's got a little bit of flare. You can see on the inside edge over here, it's a little bit narrow, and then on the outside here it flares out to a little bit longer. Now these are brand new lash, so I have not wore them before, so I am going to need two things. I'm going to need these to hold it, and I'm going to need these to trim it. My eyelash trimmers are false lash trimmers. They are something that I am very dedicated about. They don't cut anything else. They are only used for the false lashes so that they remain sharp. So we're going to use our little tool to get the lash off of the tray. You're just going to do the outside edge. Just kind of grab it. And you know that first time you get that lash off that tray, it's always a little bit of a tug. Okay. So we're going to hold the lash. Hold on. We're going to hold the lash in the middle. And then we're going to trim from the outside edge of the lash. This one, you can see there's a little bit of a nub right here on the inside, so we'll need to take that off too. So let's start with that little bit of nub on the inside. And we're just going to trim that off. And then for me, my eyes are a little bit small, so I'm going to need to take off about, let's see, let me hold it this way, about that much. So you can take that lash, hold it in the middle, and just kind of dry fit it and see how it looks. You're much better to have the lash be a little bit shorter than you are to have the lash be a little bit longer. If when you put your lashes on, you feel poking happening either on this edge or on this edge, your lash is probably a little bit too long. So now we're going to take that tool, we're going to pull that other lash off that tray. Well, maybe. Okay. Yeah, that first sticky pull is a little bit. There we go. Okay, set that tray aside now. Again, we're going to look and see. Yep, there's a little tiny bit of a nub on this one too. So let's trim that little nub off first. Here we go. And now we're going to take the edge off over here. There we go. So set them down where, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. I'll just tell you how I do it. I put the insides together on the desk. Once I set the glue, then I know this side's going over to this side, and this side's going over to this side. You do whatever you need to do to make it work for you. You're going to find a rhythm that's going to, work for you. There's not a right way and a wrong way. I'm using the Allure. This is the 18-hour lash glue. You just need to find your way. I will tell you one thing about lash glues too. I found out. I like the way a black adhesive looks, but most all black adhesives have latex in them. So if you have, for me, what it was causing was I was getting a little bit of irritation, little itching, eye watering, and the latex was the culprit. So switch to a clear glue that is latex free. Eventually somebody will come up with a adhesive that is black and latex free. Okay, so we're going to go on that top edge of it, and then we're going to come on the back edge of that band there, making sure we pay special attention to the ends. We're going to set that one down. We're going to pick up the other one. We're going to do that same thing. Get it right there on that top edge. And then on the back side. And this is just on the band. We're not getting it on the lashes, just on the band. And then we're making sure we get those little tips. Very good. Okay. Then we're going to set that down. Glue this up. No, you just discard and throw away the little things that you cut off. You don't need to keep them for any reason. Okay, so we're going to go back to that first lash that we had. Now these again are brand new lashes, so we're going to work in the band just a little bit while that glue is setting. We're going to take that band and almost touch it together, and you're just going to kind of rotate it like this and soften up that band just a smidge and give it a little bit of roundness there. I have pretty good round eyes. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I see a loose lash. Let me get that. There we go. It just kind of helps the band be a little bit softer and adjust more to your eye shape. So now we're going to pick up that first one that we did, and we're going to set it on right where your lashes meet the skin of your eyelid. And then we're going to set that down. And you'll be able to feel when that kind of coldish adhesive makes contact with your eye. Or eyelid, I mean, not your eye. And then we're going to take the tip of this and work our eyelashes into those lashes. I might could have cut that just a little bit shorter. And are these a medium volume? No, this is a natural volume. Okay, so between the two sides, okay, you can see you got a little adhesive doing some funky stuff there. There we go. Okay. You can see what a difference it makes between the two sides. So it's not like extremely unnatural because it's not like super, super full. But it does give you just enough that you can see it just opens up my eye. Okay. We're gonna go to the eyelash for the other side again. We're gonna grab both the ends. We're gonna soften up that band. And now we're going to set that on the other side. And get the end over there. Inside edge. And make sure everything is touching. Take the tip of that. Check in the inside corner. Okay. Okay, and then I just like to give one final little tap just to make sure everything is down and touched the way it's supposed to be. Okay, I got a little tiny bit of eye watering happening right here. All right, this Texas weather. I think we're high in pollen today. Okay, so to finish out our look, we are going to be setting our makeup today with the Urban Decay. This is the Urban Decay D-Slick. Actually, let's say our verse together before we get down to that. I'm kind of jumping ahead of things here. So we are going, well, we got verse going. So we'll just go ahead and D-Slick. Okay, so Urban Decay D-Slick. They have a number of setting sprays that are going to do a number of things for you. This particular one has oil control properties. I have the Ultra Matte. That's going to give you a little bit Ultra Matte. Make sure you mix that really good for that kaolin clay that's in there. Then we've got the Vitamin C for brightening. We have, do they have an SPF one? I'm not sure if they still do or not. Anyways, there's a different setting spray to do different things depending on what you've got. Now, my foundation has that SPF in there, so I don't need that from my setting spray too. So it just depends on what you got going on. So we're going to give it a little bit of a shake. We're going to tip our head back. And just give that a spray. Let it dry down. Okay. And now we are finished except for what I got happening here. There we go. All right. So let me get back up here. Now your verse should be, let's evil puts evil. Okay, we are just about around to the verse. That came out really pretty. I like it. I think I especially like that little bit of shimmer that we stuck just on the inside edge. You could use in the palette too, while we're waiting for that verse to come around, the spike stud. This silver one, that's going to give you a lot of shimmer because it's very foily. So just use your finger for that. But you could use that one too if you don't have that NYX one. I'll try to see if I can get you the link for that and put that on my website. Okay, here we go. Verse is rolling around. You ready? Don't let anyone under pressure to give in to evil say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing flare-up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby, sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. James 1:13-15. And oh, I talked too fast. I'm so sorry. So if you're reading it along, just keep on going. You'll eventually get there. Okay, so let's see. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It has been a joy to spend some time with you. I look forward to seeing you throughout the week, whether that be online or maybe you're watching this video on a podcast platform. So anyways, one or the other, social media, or better yet, come see me at my store in Midlothian, Texas. The link is on the website. I look forward to seeing you there. So all of our scripture, again, from season 2 is going to be coming from that new coloring book. So give me a couple minutes, but head over to the website, sign up for that email list, and then I'll send you this week's information for the verse and the coloring pages and the activity sheet for this week. So you can find a little bit of makeup on a whole lot of Jesus on your favorite podcast platform. I'm on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook. You get it. It's like all over the place. It is a video podcast though, so not every podcast platform has it because they don't do video podcast. Okay, so let me get over here to our visuals and get this turned off. There we go. So, you know that I like to send you out with a blessing and that I love scripture and songs. So, let me send you out with this. We'll say a quick prayer. Here we go. You ready? The Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his face toward you and give you peace. Heavenly Father, I am so thankful for everyone that is hanging out with me here live and that will watch this later on. Father, I just pray a special blessing on them this week, that you would help us as we memorize these words, as we hide these words in our heart, Father, as you have instructed us to do, that you will give us that extra bit of memory to be able to make it happen, and you would help us to go about and be diligent about making that happen. I just pray that you would help these words to encourage, to lift us up, to edify us, and to use those in situations in our own life, Father, that the Holy Spirit would help us to recall these verses at such a time that we need them. Father, I just pray the blessing on them as we go throughout this week, and that you would keep us well and safe until we meet again next week. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. All right. And I hope you have a wonderful Easter weekend this weekend, that you spend time with your family and friends and do something special as we think about our risen Savior, our God and King, Jesus Christ. Until next week, goodbye and God bless.